Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's edition of Climate Wednesday Conversations on Nature-Based Solutions. It's my pleasure to be here to continue the stimulating and engaging conversations we're having on this topic. My name is Adinke Adejan. For the past 1 month, we'll be talking about nature-based solutions and how we can use them to mitigate and also adapt to the impact of climate change on the environment. We've talked about nature-based solutions for restoring wetlands, for using nature-based solutions for food insecurity, how we can employ nature-based solutions to make sure that food is available for all. We also talked about nature-based solutions and biodiversity, how we can use nature-based solutions to preserve the natural flora and fauna in the environment. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about using nature-based solutions in sustainable development. As we all know, over half of the world's populations, they now live in cities. With the number is expected to rise to 68% by 2015. Urbanization is one of the world's most transformative trends. And most of the cities are responsible for 70% of global waste and consume about 80% of the world's energy. So for this reason, because a lot of cities generate waste, water, and all those effluents, we need to be able to use nature-based solutions to mitigate these impacts, to ensure that the activities, these impacts on the environment are reduced to the barest minimum. So today we have a guest speaker that is going to shed more light on that topic. And she's going to join us shortly to engage us, to inform us, to educate us on how we can use nature-based solutions to achieve sustainable cities, how we can use nature-based solutions to tackle the challenges of waste management, water management, energy inefficiencies, transport that occur in cities around the world. If you live in a sprawling city, you can realize that there's a lot of competition for resources. There's a lot of people, and because there's a competition for resources, there's Hello, welcome back to the continuation of today's Climate Wednesday chat series on sustainable development. We'll be talking about for this past month, like I said earlier, we're talking about nature-based solutions, and today our focus is on sustainable development of cities. When we're talking about sustainable development of cities, we are talking about when you are building your city, when you're planning your city, you're taking into consideration the social, economic, and environmental impacts that could occur during your planning, construction, and everything. So during the planning of your city, are you taking into consideration social, environmental, and economic impacts? So that is all what sustainable development of cities is all about. And like I said earlier, as cities are growing rapidly, there are going to be challenges with waste, water, spaces, because people are going to be more congested, that's the word, more congested in the cities. You're going to be having problems with transport. So you have to ensure that sustainable development is taken into considerations in all those areas, even food availability. So I'll just talk briefly about how we can achieve sustainable development in the city. So I'll first talk about waste management. You know, when there's a lot of people, there are a lot of people in cities, there's going to be a generation, a lot of waste. And so governments, individuals, and even CSOs, civil society groups have to work together to ensure that they create awareness about waste management to people so that people are encouraged to recycle, to reuse. And also that people understand that there's this myth people are that, you know, when you throw waste, it goes somewhere. It's everything you throw away still remains in the environment. They don't go anywhere. So for sustainable development of cities, there has to be good waste management, reuse, recycling, upcycling, as the case may be. Also, in terms of water, for sustainable development of cities, there has to be efficient water management. What wastewater has to be properly treated and not just deposited into aquifers or oceans, all of that. So there has to be proper standard treatment of wastewater. Also, people have to be encouraged to have water reservoirs on their rooftops so that water can be captured, rainwater can be captured, for example, and used. Even recycling of water, grey water, and all of that also has to be taken into consideration. Also, we need to look at transportation. When cities are developed, there are going to be problems with transportation. What kind of modes of transportation are we encouraging? Are we encouraging people to use bicycles? Yes, because there's less pollution. It's also good for people, exercises. Are we encouraging mass transportation, buses, BRT, and all of that? Because they carry more people, there are less vehicles on the road, and there's less congestion, and there's less carbon. All those things have to be considered to, like, transportation. How are we building parks, bus stops, proximity to people, encouraging people to take a ride, carpool to work, car sharing, carpooling, they're encouraged so that there's less cars on the road, less carbon is released in the atmosphere. Are people encouraged to have online meetings and, you know, teleconferencing, all of that? Those things contribute to sustainable development of cities. Also, we also have to look at energy. Are governments encouraging people to invest in green energy? Are there subsidies, tax incentives for solar panels? Are people builders, are they encouraged to install solar roofs and all of that in their new buildings? What are the considerations? What are the new buildings that are being constructed? So if all these core areas are looked at, there'll be sustainable development cities. There'll be the people, and also without even forgetting anything, physically challenged. In all our considerations, are we making accommodations for people that are disabled, in quote, to enable them move around with comfort and ease? Aged people, are there parks for children? All of these things contribute to sustainable development of cities. Unfortunately, today we cannot bring in our guest speaker to shed more light on this topic, but please stay tuned, follow up our updates on our social media platforms. We're going to our guest speaker. We're having technical challenges at the moment, technical issues. So our guest speaker cannot come online to, shed more light on this topic. But I've tried to give a brief summary so that at least we can have, an idea of what sustainable development of cities means. So we would follow